Welcome. Welcome to series of Pathshala, startup series of Pathshala. We have discussing about the six type of startups which I usually defined in my previous session that there are mainly six type of startup. The product, process or activity has to be defined in six types. That is lifestyle startup, small business, scalable, viable, raw scale, and social. Now we'll go to the practical implementation in our six series where each startup I will be defining and how to convert that we'll be discussing upon. First of all, we'll take a small business startup. India is a base where at around half kilometers language, preference, taste all keeps on changing. If you take any language, even in Marathi, Gujarati, Tamil, around half a kilometers, the taste, preference, speaking level, pitch of language, high level, low level, and accent also is a different. Similar way, in some part of the states, you can see that sweetness is taken more in food. Like you go to Gujarat, they majorly take sweet items. When you go to the Punjab, their food item is spicy. When you go to the Bengal side, non-veg is their main food items. When you go to the south, rice will get a good momentum in the food items. When you come to the western coast of it, you will majorly find all spicy items like my state of Maharashtra, where all districts, even different districts have a different fooding patterns. When you go to the every district of the state, you will find a different fooding habits. So that's why we have to consider that every different habits will have a different lifestyle or a different business ethics, business thinking, business logics. I don't believe in the caste, creed, and culture system, but it has some relevance on business too. Like you may be observing that the Google is interpreting himself in local languages too. Now, if you go to the Google in English, it gives a translation to every language of the world. Why is doing so? Because you want to penetrate. So that is the main idea for the startup, that we should have penetration. That's a small business. Small business means, suppose if you take a small startup business in a fish activity, you develop some medicine from a fish. I'll take just example of a small business of generating some medicine from a fish. Basically, the Jain community, Marwadi, or this kind of community which don't have a preferring non-veg, they will never go for this kind of activity. Or when you go for a food startup in a fish, different serving 50 types of fish food items, they will never accept it. So the rest of Gujarat will be not of your cup of tea. That you have to think upon. Like if you develop some good food items in a sweet that has a sweetness major content, so you will never find a customer base in Bengal side, or you may never find a customer in south side. When you get some idli, or you try to develop a product of idli in variety, so this is a small business which needs to be understand that only a specific district can develop that product. Like in my state of Maharashtra, Aurangabad, Jalgaon, Mumbai, Vidarbha, all have their own preferences. When you go to the coastal areas of Ratnagiri, Kolhapur, they have their own food heading preference. Means in state only we get a different variety of foods, and you have to develop a scalable startup which will be accepted across all the district places of a state. That's a hierarchical job which you have to think upon. There's a small businesses have a lot of problem. They cannot move ahead beyond two or three district, and you have to develop a startup which will be accepted by across all the district in India. That's why we find that when we go to a five-star hotel, we find that a cup of tea which we enjoy at a corner chai wala stall, we never enjoy at a five-star hotel, because they wanted to keep a taste which is accepted to all their national international customer. So you have to understand that. For that, you have to read government's one policy, that is one district one product, ODOP. One district one product policy is launched by the government of India in the budget of 2021, where they say that each district should showcase and develop their products in the state which they are specialized. For example, Himachal is famous for their apples, Agra ka petha hota hai, Kanpur are famous for footwears, Kanjavar in Kanpur is famous for metalware, some Rajkot is famous for steel products, silver products. So that's why each and every, like my city Jalgaon is banana. So you will find that basically we know banana is used for eating and for making and chips of banana. But You will find at the later stage that banana may be used for making medicine, banana waste may be used for making clothes, banana may be used some in hydroelectric power station for generating electricity. This is what the vision of the government too, that one district, one product has to be developed. So you will needing there for a small scale startup. A small scale startup has a very limitation of growing from one state to another state, one district to another state. So that you have to overcome. So a small idea startup like our sisters and women entrepreneurs who are working at home during the pandemic develop some mehendi drawing activities or some personal sketching or some making tailor made clothes as per your requirement or some other household products being sold on this through Instagram and all this making their sites. So they have selling a product through Instagram has a limitation. It can be sold to a variety of customer across India, but to a limited public. So that's why you should understand that small business startups limitations and the fund requirement. Now we come to the fund requirement. The small business startup can serve to around to 2 to 4 lakhs of population across country where you can serve. Beyond that, you will need more technology, more software, more penetration, more customer taste. For example, I have developed a product that is a sweet product of Gujarat. Mithai is being developed, or some Bengali mithai is being developed, or some mithai is developed that will be sold across India through a small business, but where Bengali resides in India. So you can capture the Bengal market across India, but it will be a specific class, specific sector, and specific product. It will be not viability in Punjab, not viable in Tamil Nadu, not viable in Kerala. So your product is not having an Indian access. So the small business products has to be understood, and then only development should take place. If you think that a small business will generate a scalable or international market, think upon your product of Bengali mithai will be adopted in foreign countries where the Bengali resides, because other community or other European countries, American audiences or the public will be, they just will be testing in a once in a blue moon. They will be not a regular consumer. So for a small business idea, you should think upon that your customer recurring ratio. Suppose you have sold to 100 customers, how many repeat orders you will be getting? That is the success of a small business. If a repeat orders are not coming in a ratio of more than 50%, then you should think of winding up that small business. Because if you are selling to 100, you get requirement of 50. Again you sell that to 50, that will reduce down to 25. So it will be growing but reducing to internal extent, because they will be eating once and then will be a competitor will be developed in small areas and it will eat up your business. In small business you will face a lot of competition, local competition from selling the products, because very easily it can be detected whose sales are good, whose sales are not good. Like you can example take upon a peda, a sweet peda which is not finding in a global market, because in every district taluka everybody manufactures that peda or that sweet content which can be taken away by easily other. So think upon a product which has a regional balances too. So a small business product will require a limited capital, it will have a limited consumption, limited access, and every now and then you need to change its packing, size, quality, content, because you have to keep the customer in guessing part. Otherwise it will become and selling like an ambassador car, a white color car sale for 25 years automatically gradually went down. It should not happen that. You have to recycle your product, remanufacture it, resize it, repack it, try to reach to the new customers, try to develop in another formats, like you can sell, understand the festive season of India. Until unless you don't understand the festive season, it's very difficult, because in Maharashtra Ganpati festival is usually celebrated in the month of August and September, which has a heavy demand for sweets called modak. And Durga Puja similarly across West Bengal, Mata in North, and in Gujarat Navratri season. You have to understand all the cycles of festive season. Pongal at the right down the earth, North some other festivals. You have to understand Northeast festival also to understand. 12 months you can do the business of sweets, but concentrating on the different areas of the structure of India. Similarly, You have to learn what I have learned. Read your books of your kid from 1 to 10 standard of geography. You will understand all the geographical structure. The subject from which we were running is coming back to us, that we have to study the geography and understand what are the hilly areas, what are the plateau areas, what are the western ghats, what are the eastern ghats, where is the sea coast. Accordingly you have to plan the business. So we are signing off. I hope you got my idea of small business startup. Thank you very much. Have a good time.